Sinners is my favorite movie of 2025. And it's not for the reasons you may think. You see, on the surface it may seem like a typical vampire film. And for anyone who refuses to look deeper or flat out can't analyze the themes Sinners presents, then they'd walk away from the film with a very uninformed and basic understanding of it. They'd walk away thinking there's a good twin, there's a bad twin, they want to open up a club, they get attacked by vampires, one turns into a vampire, one kills the other vampires, and the story ends. That would obviously be the most inaccurate assessment of the film and the twin brothers in general, but if someone refused to engage with the narrative, then they'd be parroting that take. Here's the thing though, Sinners is my favorite movie of 2025, and in my opinion the best movie of 2025 for the simple fact that it relies on the act of subtlety and visual storytelling. Now I could talk about how the true themes of Sinners is not the vampires killing people, but music, and how music could connect between generations. The vampires being literal bloodsuckers that want to steal or drain that music, which parallels the history of America's treatment of Black Americans and Black culture, but there's plenty of other videos that talk about that. I want to talk about the subtle differences between two of the main protagonists, or antagonists, of the story, Smoke and Stack, and how Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler subvert expectations with these characters excellently. The Art of Subtlety. Michael B. Jordan plays these characters expertly for the simple fact that their mannerisms contrast one another. Smoke is not just brooding, he's specifically on edge, always presented as ready to pull out his gun, like he's waiting for a reason to do so. Smoke is stated throughout the story to have taken part in World War I, fighting on the front lines in German trenches. Maybe he was a part of the Harlem Hellfighters. That was an all-black unit of soldiers who fought under the French while being the first Allied unit to cross the Rhine following the Armistice of 1918. Man, those guys need a movie. Anyway, Smoke is presented as clearly battle-hardened and possibly even a victim of shell shock or PTSD. A subtle detail is the constant shaking his hands make in the story. He can't even check his clock correctly or roll up his own cigarette without Stack's help. It's almost like there's no Smoke without Stack and no Stack without Smoke. Now, Stack is not just more bubbly, he's in fact more comfortable in the world around him. He sees the better aspects of life and what it has to offer, and not only does Michael show this in Stack's facial expressions, specifically his dimples, but his actions throughout the film. The way Stack simply just enters a car hints at his overall outlook on life, carefree and pretty much relaxed. Stack specifically having a white passing character be the love of his life in 1930 also helps support these beats. He frankly doesn't care about the scrutiny and dangers that come with it. It perfectly aligns with his character. Now, twins have been done before, but this performance is so acclaimed specifically because Michael succeeds in making the characters distinct in their mannerisms and actions throughout the film, while keeping it grounded and not really cartoonish. Nothing is explained to you, nothing is exposition dumped, it's just shown. It's just visual storytelling, and that's what makes it good. The Art of Subversion. Ryan Coogler is the mind behind the character arcs of Smoke and Stack, and he had just as much of a role in crafting their subtlety. At basic face value, Smoke and Stack would be described as the bad one and the good one. One has a red hat signifying evil, one has a blue hat signifying good, right? Nah. In fact, it's a deliberate curveball by Ryan. Smoke is presented as the good, responsible one on the surface, but his actions, from the past and the present in the story, other characters' reactions to his actions,
you evil man,
and Smoke's own worldview show that he's much crueler than Stack. Much, much crueler. While both the twins are businessmen, Stack is more likely to give everyday folks a chance at happiness, even if they won't be able to afford it. Smoke is the opposite. He doesn't care about your circumstances. He cares about himself and his kin, and only his. Anyone that gets in the way of that, Smoke will, smoke them in a heartbeat. This is shown multiple times in the film. Smoke was the one who killed their abusive father, even though Stack was the one that took the majority of the beatings. Smoke completely disowns Mary because he sees her as a liability that needs to be forgotten about, even though Mary grew up with the twins and is practically their family. Smoke shows little regard for people he deems as useless, while Stack sees potential in any individual's greatness, especially Sammy. This doesn't make Smoke evil, as this environment has forced him to take on this mantle. But this doesn't make Smoke good either. It's not until Stack gets turned into a vampire where the worst parts of both the twins come to the surface. Vampire Stack, who's practically a third character, is a representation of the cruelness of Smoke and the casualness of Stack. Two darker parts of the same whole. Even as a vampire, there's no Smoke without Stack, and there's no Stack without Smoke. The subtlety of these characters, who are in the end just sinners, no pun intended, is a representation of the genius that Ryan crafted in the script and performance Jordan gave in his acting. And it's the exact type of characters that resonate with an audience for years to come. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. This is The Right Alibi, and I'll see you guys on the next one.